is when the people come and they're just like, they're excited to be there, and it's nice to like have them there after our hard work, and it's nice to just show them around, and at the end they really feel like we should do something about this, and it makes me feel good because that's what it's all about. You want to get them involved.
In the Abolitionist Fair, I think that students really do get a chance to look and see how slavery has evolved. And there are projects on history and projects of modern day. And there are things, you know, bright colors, fun activities, movement, and that's very stimulating for a student. And so they go and they actually participate rather than get information put up on a board and told this is this and this. And instead they're involved and there's a guarantee that they will learn.
The Abolitionist Fair, basically, we had all these activities and games. The way those worked was that there was these facts and kids would answer. And it was funny when they actually learned like the actual amounts of people who are in slavery, all their faces were just in shock and wow, because they were like, are you serious? They couldn't believe it. So basically these little games was just like a fun way of informing people, but also have people have fun.
Our project on the timeline was from the Civil War. A lot of groups in general, they brought some extra things that made it more fun. We had the baked hardtack, which some people were willing to try, even though it's very hard to bite down on. It was really interesting to show them this is really what people ate during the war. And then we had some Confederate money.
I liked how when you're going down the line, you could actually see the struggle for freedom, because it starts off with slavery, like the whole blacks working in the field on the plantations, and it works its way through the Harlem Renaissance and black entertainment, and then World War II and so on. You could actually see what was going on through history.
Because you see, modern day slavery is all around the world. It's in places like India, the Caribbean, and even right here in the USA. So we're going to take you to those 3 places today. Ladies, okay.
We created a step dance. Basically, our dance incorporated different sections of slavery. First, we started in like Africa type scenario. Everybody knows about when the slaves were transported during the transatlantic slave trade. Then we went to the Caribbean, and then our own backyard in the U.S.
A man came by with 700 rupees, pointing his fingers and shaking his keys. I was trapped into carpet looms just to be the death for a family's bloom. My mother told me it's okay, don't cry. You're only helping us out for a little while. You're not gonna die.
I think the whole dance and the step was a different way to get our point across, to show that slavery still exists. It didn't stop. It's more prevalent now than before, and it was just like a new way to open people's eyes.
I think the most important thing to tell people is that number 27 million. When you tell people that, it's just like, whoa, it like sparks something in your head.
I also think it's important to tell people slavery doesn't discriminate. They don't care whether you're a child, a man, or a woman.
We had different people dressed up as slaves with like the price amounts. For back in the day, you see that a slave was worth $500. But then if you look at today, it's a big change. Like slaves today are not worth that much.
The fact that you're being sold as like an object anyway, it's kind of upsetting. And the fact that this happens and people just tell you like you're a piece of meat is just wrong.
I dressed up as Uncle Tom from Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Just then, in a rush of excitement, Eva falls off the boat. Everyone shrieks, "Save her!" Tom pulled at his chains, and in a sudden surge of strength, he broke free, jumping into the water and saving Eva.
I went around role-playing, explaining his role in the book and his effect on American society. And I got to meet with a representative of Harriet Beecher Stowe Center.
Many people think it's not real, this is fake, this is not true, I don't believe this, but it's true, and I think that's one of the hardest parts of people like not caring about it. I think if we try and educate them, then we can make a big difference.
Human trafficking is the fastest growing crime business in the world today.
So we did a project called Surviving Slavery, which is a game, and it's basically a race to get the puzzle pieces that made a picture of a slave, and the first person who got the puzzle pieces won. And during the game, you had to answer questions about slavery, so a lot of kids were able to learn more about modern day slavery. If they got the question wrong, they would get blank puzzle pieces, so of course when they try to put them together, it wouldn't work. So they have to go back and get the right puzzle pieces from the right answer, and they basically have to start all over.
Another project that was at the fair was Are You Smarter Than a SASS Member? It's basically going off the show Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? but it's with SASS questions.
One of the ninth graders this year also created a fair trade Monopoly game in that all the companies were actual fair trade companies, and I think that was really interesting in that it educated the kids who played it about which companies sold fair trade products, so that maybe they could remember when they're shopping in the store that, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy these, but I should buy these because they're fair trade.
2 other ninth graders decided to have a t-shirt contest with slogans, and students can vote for whichever one they like the most, and then that t-shirt will be made into an actual t-shirt that you can wear.
It really let kids show out their artistic side while learning about slavery and conveying their message through the shirt.
A really interesting project that has been a part of the Abolitionist Fair for I think 2 years now is the human board game. And in that you actually become a slave and you follow the instructions on cards and actually walk through like a human board game to reach freedom, which is the end of the game. And the cards give you various setbacks that a slave would actually face in their real life. You moving back in the human board game represents the slave moving back in their quest to freedom. And it's just a really interesting game because when people play it and they get frustrated that, oh my gosh, I'm moving back, how do you think a real slave feels? They're frustrated too.
SASS has been an amazing experience for me. I went in because I learned about slavery in my 9th grade U.S. history class, and I really was like, wow, that's a problem. And I entered SASS as, another extracurricular, but as I've gone through, I've really understood the way humanity treats each other, and it's definitely made a huge impact on my life. I go around and I've really become very interested in trying to make a difference in the world.
We figured taboo would be a good way to actually get people to understand the definitions of what slavery itself actually is.
People in foreign countries, they are blank to front, yes.
I liked seeing the kids participate in an activity and then go run and tell their friends how fun it was.
When people were in the library, they were playing the games, looking at the posters in the library, but they stopped in their tracks to watch the video.
It's kind of fun to see how it comes together, what we've been doing all year, and then people actually, that they're interested in it and they're engaged in it and they want to see what we do and they look forward to it every year. Something that's very cool about the Abolitionist Fair is all the people that are outside of MLC and outside of SASS that come to see us. We had other high schools participate in the fair.
So what is it that you're doing here for? Fundraising or
yeah,
what exactly?
We have many organizations that we donate to. We donate to Free the Slaves and I Abolish Slaves.
We also had Free the Slaves, and they had their own booth and table, as well as the Connecticut Coalition Against Trafficking, which I think is really cool that we can actually get with such big organizations, even though we're a small one but growing.
I think the most important action we should take is political action, but as a teenager, it's hard for us to be able to do that. So I think just by informing people about it, you never know, one day this information will reach someone that can actually make a difference.
I think what's great about an event like this is that it allows students to artistically express their passion about something they believe in. Whether it's in computers or writing, or theater, or even illustrations. One kid made an entire comic book. You can see everyone trying their hardest and having fun to support this cause.
After the whole Abolitionist Fair, I find myself more committed to the cause and everything. So it was a real educational experience for me, as well as finding who I am.
SASS, it's more than just a club that I do after school. It's really a part of my life now because I just think about, before I eat a Hershey's bar or something, I think, wow, there's a slave somewhere in the world that made this, While I'm sitting here enjoying my chocolate, there's a kid or someone that's suffering and they don't have freedom. And it's really important because we all deserve to be free and to live our lives the way that we choose.
SASS has meant to me a whole lot because with SASS, I feel like we have a voice to speak out.
SASS, it basically changed my whole life. It gave me a whole new perspective on things. Me wearing a regular shirt, I'm thinking, oh, this is cute, but then I'm thinking, did somebody suffer to make this? Or my new shoes that I got, did somebody was beaten to make this? Or did they were held against their will? It just make you think a lot how grateful your life is and how you might want to help somebody else.
SASS is it's a really good time with friends, but it's past the point of friends. you're coming together as a whole group and making a difference. We raised over $1,000 for Free the Slaves organization while bringing awareness.
People should care about human trafficking because I think it stems from a lot of other world issues like poverty and lack of education and just inequality, like disrespect for women and all those kind of things. And I think that if you work against modern day slavery and human trafficking, you're chipping away at those bigger problems.
Slavery doesn't have a color. I mean, it's affecting everybody, and it's like if one of us isn't free, we're all not free.
And you just have to have that mindset that if someone you cared about was enslaved, wouldn't you do everything you could to stop it?